Okay, still on the third floor, and not very far at all from Jerry Reed and Tammy Wynette, is Joyce Reba, known as Dottie Rambo. Dottie Rambo was a gospel singer. I never heard of her, but apparently she was huge. She was a huge name in gospel music. Dottie worked with big name televangelists such as Billy Graham, Pat Robertson, Benny Hinn, Oral Roberts, Catherine Kuhlman, and Tammy Faye Baker. Now, the interesting thing is that right next to her is where Little Jimmy Dickens is going to be interred. He's still alive, but Little Jimmy Dickens will be interred right next to Dottie Rambo. Okay, still on the third floor of the mausoleum. We come to the highly decorated interment site of Otis Blackwell. You may never have heard of him, but you have definitely heard the songs which he wrote. He was a R&B songwriter, but wrote a lot of hits for rock and roll artists such as Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis. As a matter of fact, his songs sold over 180 million records. He wrote songs such as Great Balls of Fire, Return to Cinder, All Shook Up, Don't Be Cruel. Otis Blackwell and his wife Mamie. Haven't heard the name, but you've definitely heard his music. Okay, we're on the second floor now. Here we go. Jack Smiley Stapp, 1912 to 1980. Jack Stapp was he was in charge of auditioning talent for WSM Radio, which was the home of the Grand Ole Opry. And it was because of his efforts that he was able to harness a talent such as Eddie Arnold, Ernest Tubb, Hank Williams, Kitty Wells, Webb Pierce, who is also buried here, but we won't go there, and Little Jimmy Dickens. He founded the Tree Record Publishing Company. He was the program director, and Tree Publishing really took off after a certain man named Elvis Presley came in and recorded Heartbreak Hotel. It was a breakthrough production for Tree, and there have been a lot of famous albums produced by Tree. It is now owned by Sony, I believe. I believe it's called Sony Tree. So Jack Smiley Stapp, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the ones inside the mausoleum. We will now go out into the lawn. This is the Garden of Everlasting Life here at Woodlawn. And we come to the grave of Mr. Porter Wagoner. Died October 28th, 2007. A staple at the Grand Ole Opry, known for its flashy suits. Porter Wagoner, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the Garden Gethsemane. Perhaps you can see the mausoleum in the distance. Now we approach the grave of Mr. Marty Robbins. Marty Robbins, ladies and gentlemen. And you come right up here I just found this, as a matter of fact. Mr. Webb Pierce. Webb Pierce, ladies and gentlemen. Just I get his name on there. We are now in the Garden of Time. We are at the grave of Mr. Mel Street. Mel Street. I guess his biggest hit would be Borrowed Angel. Mr. Street suffered from alcoholism and depression, and he committed suicide on October the 21st, 1978. Mel Street. This is rather odd because there's no one, I mean no one, buried even close to him. You can see the mausoleum in the distance there. But we are at the grave of one Mr. Johnny Paycheck. Now, Mr. Paycheck, Johnny Paycheck, I read where he filed for bankruptcy late in life. When he died, I read that his family did not have enough money to bury him. So it was George Jones, country music singer George Jones, who bought this plot and this plaque for Johnny Paycheck. Johnny Paycheck, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the garden called as the Sermon on the Mount. We come around. We come to the grave of Claudette Orbison, 1966. This was Roy Orbison's first wife, who died in a motorcycle accident in Gallatin, Tennessee. The Orbisons were living in Hendersonville at the time, Hendersonville, Tennessee. We come over. It's Anthony King Orbison, 1968. Roy Dwayne Orbison, 1968. These were Roy Orbison's children, two children who died in a fire just 2 years after his wife died. The house caught on fire. These two children died in the fire. This third child, Grady Lee Orbison, died at the age of 40 in 1973. He also was in that fire, but I read that his grandparents was able to pull him to safety. So this is Roy Orbison's family here. I believe Roy Orbison is buried in Los Angeles, though. The Orbisons. We're now at the grave of Eddie Arnold.
Ha ha! Well, you just go right ahead and sue me all you want to, Miss Tibbetts, because I gave ample warning to the entire group to keep all arms and legs inside the trolley at all times. Ha ha! You sue me all you want to. I'll send it back to you FedEx, okay? All right, have a good day, Miss Tibbetts.